You know, in response to a global demand for cleaner and more efficient energy sources, the federal government introduced the compressed natural gas CNG alternative. The idea is catching on like wildfire, as they say. So the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, has announced a 40% reduction in transport fares for commuters on CNG-powered taxis from the popular Area 1 motor park at the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, as the conversion to CNG gathers momentum nationwide, Ladipo, we expect more reduction in fares countrywide. But let's first share the story by TVC News' Helen Osamede Akin. Let's go there.
In line with President Bola Tinubu's commitment to easing the economic burden of Nigerians, the presidential CNG initiative is driving efforts to reduce transportation costs by promoting the use of compressed natural gas in the public transport sector. The initiative focuses on deploying CNG-powered buses and converting existing commercial vehicles to CNG, a more affordable and environmentally friendly alternative to petrol. This shift is expected to significantly cut fuel expenses and translate into lower transport fares for commuters. In collaboration with the National Union of Road Transport Workers, the initiative has introduced a 40% fare reduction along selected routes in Abuja.
To different destinations when they were running on petrol. And we have come together, made an analysis and achieved a 40% reduction fare in the transportation from Area 1 to all other destinations. The reduction project will continue. More cars are being converted, and we move from here now. We are going to go to Area 3, where we have also done a reduction of their prices. We are going to go to all other parks within Abuja and eventually the country.
Our strategies are vehicles that have been converted, we have a price tag written on the vehicles, so that you as a passenger, if you are going to Gwagwalada Nyanya, you will notice that this vehicle is being converted and this is the price tag.
Despite growing interest in CNG, access to refueling stations remain a challenge. The presidential CNG initiative assures that measures are on the way to expand the number of operational gas stations across the Federal Capital Territory and beyond.
Currently now in Abuja there are 10 stations across the place. Across FCT there are 10, and we know even in this month we have at least 2 more coming on stream. We just implore with Nigerians to be a bit more patient with us. We are getting there, we're working hard. As we're doing in Abuja, we're doing across the nation as well.
As the transition to CNG continues to gain momentum, the government has emphasized its commitment to making cleaner, cheaper fuel accessible to all Nigerians. Residents from these locations are expected to take advantage of this opportunity and report defaulting transporters to the nearest authority. Helen Osamede Kings, TVC News, Abuja.
Many thanks, Helen. Dipo, you know, the CNG is catching on like wildfire. You expect it can only get better?
It can only get better. You know, we've always been saying it here on this program that gradually things will get better.
Oh, yes.
What people expect over the years has been for a government to come into power and in 24 hours.
Trigger it.
And in 24 hours,
yeah,
Nigeria has turned into a developed country, fully developed, good roads everywhere. But it's one step after the other.
Oh, yeah.
And this is one.
One step at a time.
Yeah, this is one, really. And it's commendable. It's even commendable that government officials came out to say this has happened. So if you benefiting from this don't want to use your initiative to reduce fares, we are going to enforce it.
That's it.
Because we'll see that around our own climb, enforcement is the only thing that works.
Okay.
No matter how the level of enlightenment you do, people don't want to comply unless you enforce. And that is what is wrong with everything everywhere now in terms of prices.
Yeah.
For instance now, if a market woman benefits from this package
Okay.
going to and fro our shop, what I will expect ordinarily is some of the goods in our shop, which have been overpriced because of the cost of transportation, should be reduced. But they won't do that. Because this thing is a chain.
All right.
It's a chain.
From the information reaching us,
Yes.
if many car owners have converted to the CNG
Yes.
and are not
Reflecting
that.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking, because this thing should reflect around the totality of the economy. The landlord who is charging so amount, if he benefits from something like this, should also think, okay, let's increase. The good seller should also think, let's increase. But that's not the way it is for Nigerians, and that's why this enforcement is going to work.
All right. Yeah. I'm sorry. After all, they say in Nigeria, when anything goes up, it hardly comes down.
It's hardly.
You've seen petrol go up and come down.
But it hardly.
Oh, okay.
Now it's being regulated. If not for government intervention, if you leave it,
It's come down many times this year alone.
if you leave it to people who are running the system, it won't. It won't. And like the presenter said there is a need for government, as it is, putting these things in place to be quicker with the provision of more stations
Okay.
for gas.
Where you can go.
Yes, in Lagos here, when there is, especially the filling station that I like to use in Agidingbi, which is mobile.
Yes.
When you see queues there now, it is not fuel. It is gas. You see them queue.
So essentially,
When there is no fuel scarcity.
When there's
Okay,
so it is for gas.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it means
People will misread it.
Yes, it's a service station.
No, but people are now saying that it's useful, it's good.
No, of course, you
So
save
we
a lot of
need
money.
more.
Save a lot of
We
money.
need more of those so that we can quickly get it right and ensure that
Yeah.
the cost of transportation is forced to come down.
That's it.
Then for the owners of vehicles, government also needs to also get something right. Gas, petrol, or whatever means of fueling is only one out of so many factors that will make a vehicle to be on the road.
Yeah.
Other things must be taken care of quickly.
Yes.
Because
Vehicle
all
parts.
given, it's a matter of time. It can only get better.
Yes. There's a lot of sharp practices by independent
Marketers.
entities
Yeah.
that are handling the matter of
CNG.
CNG installation
The regime.
of
Okay.
the kits.
Okay.
Government makes those kits where government has said, okay, these kits we give you for free, especially to commercial transport owners. Some of these people sell at between 200,000 to 1.2 million, which is another way of frustrating government's intentions. We
exploiting the
are
situation.
a big problem to ourselves.
Yes.
We were talking about Nail Fund the other day. You cannot say that Nail Fund is not a good initiative. Those who are saying Tinubu has not achieved anything, they sidetrack Nail Fund. But you can't go to Borno State now, the state that has the highest highest number of beneficiaries of Nail Fund.
Nail Fund, yeah.
You can't go and tell them that
But
it
it
is not
doesn't
an
exist.
achievement. You can't go to Kano, go to BUK, Bayero University Kano,
and preach the same
and
gospel.
say, oh, no, Nail Fund is not an achievement. Or let me not even say Nail Fund. Students' loan is not an achievement.
Yeah.
Of course it is. At least 500,000 students have
Already,
now benefited. We need more to benefit. But there are things that we need to do. Schools that are engaging in sharp practices, they need to stop. They should help these people have access, help students have access to these funds, not make it difficult for them. Now, coming back to CNG, we need the penetration of CNG to be much higher than it is now. It's a laudable initiative, but the penetration is slow. Okay. Very slow. Yeah. The places where you can look at Abuja, for example, they were telling us that only 10 points. That's not sufficient for the second fastest growing city in Nigeria.
After Lagos.
After Lagos. Yeah. Abuja is the second fastest growing city. So they need to do something about that. But government has chosen to let private people lead this initiative. Yeah. Now, the good thing with the steps that they are taking now, Area 1 to Gwagwalada, which used to cost 1,500 with petrol was reduced to 900 naira. Area 1 to Kuje, which was 1,200, was reduced to 720 naira. Area 1 to Galadimawa from 500 naira is now 300 naira. So this reduction is being done in collaboration with the NURTW. I saw a post by someone who said, look, he was interviewing the driver that picked her up from the airport. Okay. And the driver said, I'm using CNG. But he was charging the same fare as the people using petrol. So what is the benefit? What have people gained? Countries across the world subsidize transportation because a lot of people, their salaries get spent on moving from one point to another. So if this is our own way of subsidizing it, then we need to do it better. Let's be in that situation. Iran, of all the countries of the world, Iran has the highest penetration of CNG. And it's possible. Really? Yes, higher than the US. The US, they don't use it that much in the US. Surprising. As big as US is, they don't use it that much. They don't use that much in UK. But in Iran, they use it a lot. We must also do our best. Let's create more conversion centers. Let's bring in more conversion kits so that our people can have more access to this thing, and they will definitely bring down their cost. It will even save their cars. Yes. Okay. It will increase the lifespan of their vehicles, because petrol engines, you know, you'll be going to your mechanic all the time. You know?
Are you telling me? Yeah. All right. So again, the debate